Hello. Welcome to Reading Sprints. I'm just gonna. Oh, yeah, you're unmuted, Sharon. Got it. Thank you for coming on. It's lovely to see your face on this lovely.
Hello.
Is it a sunny evening where you are? Is it a lovely sunny evening where you are as well? Oh, sorry. I
It's been
think we're on a
so
slight
hot
delay.
here today.
Yeah, it has been here as well. But
Oh,
with
you
a
sound
cold
like you're
breeze.
underwater. Very strange.
Oh no. Are we sorted?
It'll sort itself out.
It tends to be okay within a minute. You sound okay to me at the minute. Do I sound like I'm underwater still?
No, you're better now.
Okay, good. Yeah, so today it's been hot and sunny here, but with a deceptive cool breeze. So we kept being in the garden, and I was like, oh, we can end up sunburned if we're not careful, because it's one of those, like, it feels like you're by the sea, and we're not by the sea. It just had that nice breeze to it. So been gardening. I've been repotting plants today, and I don't really know how to do it. So I'm hoping that they're not all going to be dead within 2 days. I've done my best, but I looked up
I
online how to
don't.
do it, and it's like repotting plants is so easy. And I'm like, is it though? Is it if you've got two not
No.
green thumbs?
I planted loads. When we first moved in, I planted loads of stuff in pots because my husband worked at home base, so we got loads of plants, obviously. It was at the beginning of lockdown. And so I had loads of free plants because they closed down. And I planted them all in pots, and a lot of them were in pots. And I've never touched them since, and they're fine without my intervention. They flourish without me touching them.
That's what I'm hoping for. I've got some herb pots going, and I'm hoping that once they get a bit more established, I'll just be able to not touch them apart from to pull herbs off to eat. And we've got some pea plants because Nathan requested peas, because we tried to grow peas last year in the heat wave, and we managed to just get one pod to grow, and then the plant died, and so he was really happy that we grew like 6 peas. So I've bought some proper little already, the little shoot things. They're very small plants, I guess.
Yeah. There's
So
nothing like
hopefully we might have
that.
better
Fresh
luck.
peas out of a pod is lovely.
I know. Well, it's funny how frozen peas in the freezer is like absolutely not, but give me a pea from a pod and you'll eat them. So it's my hope that we can all have nice fresh veggies on the plate if I can grow them. I grew beetroot successfully last year. Oh, it's just frozen up for a second.
I was going to check my internet is all right.
I mean,
my internet's fine. It's on full power, so I don't know why. It might be the heat.
I mean, sometimes I think it's just StreamYard has just a little wobble. I don't know. I think you look good to me, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we look good to everybody else. So I've started reading a new book today. I'm finally reading. Helps if I show you the cover. You've got this one, didn't you? The Nevernight Academy for Liars. Did you end up reading it?
I gave it away.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably not your.
I gave my copy away because I gave my copy away because I didn't like that copy. So I gave it to my friend Amelia, because she wanted it. I've got it on my Kindle to read, but I haven't read it yet.
It's very dark academia. I'd say so far, the very opening scene, there's a touch of horror to it, but it's just getting her into the kind of dark academia world at the minute. So we're not getting much horror. But I think that once she's in the world, the horror will kick in a bit more, probably, hopefully.
I like dark academia. Yeah, I do like dark academia, but it has to be a certain type. So, I do like it. So it has to be there has to be some kind of supernatural element to it. Do you know? Otherwise I get a bit bored, but yeah, so I will read it. I've got so many. I sorted my bookcases out yesterday. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea.
Halfway through, you just regret it, don't you? That's what I did. I took every book off my shelves, looked at my floor, and just went, "Oh no, what have I done?"
I needed to unhaul a load of books. I had because I've got a lot of this is my main bookcase, and all these up here, this side here, those are all unread, right? The rest of them I've read. I've read everything else, and but the ones I want to keep. So I thought I need to take out the ones I'm not going to keep, and there was like 128, I think.
Whoa. Yeah.
And then I thought I've got room now, and then I started putting things in that I've read, and it's full again.
Yeah, I've got some space. I've organized by genre at the minute, and my fantasy shelf is like that. So I'm thinking I need to put some other stuff on with the fantasy because I've got so many books on my floor. And also weirdly, my YA horror, I just started shelving and didn't really think about it. My YA horrors ended up on one side and adult horrors on the bottom on the other side. And I feel like I want them together. So I'm gonna have
Oh,
because I
I'm
didn't
not.
know how many shelves I'd got of everything until I started. So I think I'm going to probably redo mine now I've got them up there. I'm just going to swap a shelf at a time.
I'm not that organised. I mean, until I pulled all this out, all the stuff I'd read and unread was on the shelf, all mixed up, because I know which ones I've read, right? But there's no organisation to it. It's all mixed up, apart from this shelf here, which is all point horror, and there's Goosebumps below it, and my special edition indies. But the rest of it is all mixed. It's all mixed.
Yeah, I
And
don't
today,
separate. Sorry.
do you see just behind me? I've got into Goosebumps now. I've got a bit addicted to
Uh,
Goosebumps. So this little pile here is the Horrorland. I got the whole
oh,
Horrorland stuff on World of Books yesterday.
yeah, I keep looking at that and thinking I haven't actually read the Goosebumps I bought yet. I bought all those Goosebump tins that they did a while back, and I've read one
Oh,
or
right.
two of them. So I need to
I
probably read
really enjoyed
Goosebumps fresh.
it. I
They
read
are
the
good.
Curse
They're
of
good
the
fun.
Curse of the Mummy. Yeah, I read the Curse of the Mummies too, and for a middle grade, which is what it was, it's actually really quite. The children are in actual peril. Somebody's trying to kill them. I mean, I'm quite surprised, really, that they got away with it. But it was such a fun read. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm looking forward
R.L.
to reading some
Stein.
more.
I don't know what it is, whether it's just because he's R.L. Stein, but these Stein Tinglers books, quite a lot of them, because they're short stories, the kids at the end, it's like, well, they're trapped in some alternate dimension away from their parents
Yeah,
and stuff like that. It's quite brutal. And I think YA is normally a bit more hopeful than some of his Goosebumps and some of his short stories are. I read Say Cheese and Die quite recently, and that was fun. A haunted camera that I don't know whether it
I've got that one.
like the pictures that come out of it haven't happened yet, I think, or something like that, or it makes if you take a picture of somebody, it makes a bad thing happen to them. What's in the picture? And that was good fun. And I read another one that was really weird. The Beast from the East, I think, was a host pick for old school April last year. So I read it, and that is wild. It's like I don't even know what genre of horror that is, cosmic or something. It was very strange, but I
Cosmic. Oh, I love
enjoyed that.
Cosmic. No.
Yeah, I don't know if
I've
that's the right
got
word, but it was weird.
yeah,
Weird horror.
I've got the Haunted Mask, because that's the only one I hadn't got was the Haunted Mask, and that's Cameron's pick for old school April.
Oh, is
He
it?
always his favourite Goosebumps. So it was his pick either this year or last year. So I thought I'm going to get that because I haven't got that one, so I'll read that. And but yeah, I'm really loving old school April. It's such fun.
It is. I've kind of picked a TBR that I want to read and then figured out because Kelsey's good with the prompts. They're all quite broad, aren't they? You can generally find a
Yeah.
book will like this one. I think it fit the over 300 pages, and there might have been a dark academia one or something. So yeah, this fits 2 prompts without me even really trying. So
What I've done is I printed off the bingo card, and then
oh,
so what
that's a
I've
good
done is
idea.
each book I've put, and then I've numbered all the prompts, and then I've just put which
Very
numbers applied to
organised.
them and added it up. So that's how I've done it. I love this is my little readathon
Oh,
pouch.
that's lovely. I probably need to do that and be a bit more organized. I literally 2 minutes before recording the video, I just had a quick watch of Kelsey's again, looked at her prompts on the Google Docs, and then hastily like put together a list. So I didn't really think about it as much as I should. So
I haven't
tonight
done the
I'm
photo
gonna.
today. Yeah,
Oh,
I haven't done
I've
the.
been rubbish with the photos. I don't
Yeah,
think
I've
I'm
done
gonna
all of
manage
them
that.
except I didn't do the holographic ones because I hadn't got anything holographic. But I haven't done today's because I've been too busy today, so I just haven't got round to it. But
I'm hit and miss with social media at the minute. I do enjoy it, and I think I do see an impact when I do it in terms of visibility and sales and engagement, and I just like chatting to people about books.
yeah,
But it's
me
just the
too.
time. The time I
Yeah,
haven't really got at the moment. Um, so tonight I'm going to do some freelance work because I'm working with a freelance client and I record interviews with people. So I need to go through and transcribe the interview. So that's probably my main plan. And I've decided I'm going to try colouring books. So I've bought a Halloween Disney colouring book
I love
and a
colouring.
big box of pens, because I'm told that when you do adult colouring that you need a good quantity of pens, otherwise you've not got enough colours, to shade and stuff like that. So
I've got
I've gone to
so
use
many.
a
I've got
Hoover pens,
I've got
maybe.
500 pens, like normal pens. Then
Yeah.
I've got watercolor pencils, watercolor pens, acrylic pens. Because I do a lot of crafty stuff, I love watercolor pencils. I use those a lot to color with, because you
Yeah.
put this down and then you just add water and spread it about.
Mm,
It's just a really
yeah.
nice way to do watercolor. But
I
yeah,
think
you
I
grab
might have
a
to.
good supply.
Yeah, well, I didn't go. I looked into my options, and the alcohol-based one often said that
Yeah.
they're smelly, and both Kev and I are not keen on. I know it sounds weird, but smelly pens, it just really it sets both of us off, like allergy-wise. So she says sniffing. I've got hay fever at the minute, so
Yeah,
it's
well,
not good to introduce more allergies to the to
no,
the mix. So
your one's
I've
already.
Yeah, so I've gone for what did I go for? I think they're watercolor, just because it said that they didn't smell of anything, and I was like, that's fine. I think the alcohol ones are meant to be really nice, smooth to color with, aren't they? But I don't think I could cope. Like the Sharpie smell. If I sign with a Sharpie for a while, I start to feel like weird and lightheaded. So I'm
Oh, I quite like the
gonna
smell
go
of
with.
that. So is that hard for me not to sniff it, which is a whole other problem.
Yeah, I mean,
I
this
like
is
the
it.
smell of it. So,
Let's
but
go
yeah, the
do it in the
watercolor ones
garden.
will come out. You'll probably find as well, if Nathan should get a hold of them and he marks anything, those ones will come out. Whereas the
Yeah, I did buy
alcohol
some.
ones won't.
I bought some fancy, is it Posca pens? And he did get hold of them, and some of the nibs are just pushed in now. And I was like, I'm not doing that again because they're too expensive.
I've got
I think
Posca
I
pens.
spent
They're very
30 odd.
expensive.
I think I
Yeah.
spent 30 odd pounds on a pack of 10 of them, and some of them are a bit mangled now. But he had fun using them. I can't really complain. He was like, "Mummy, sparkly pens, can I please use them?" I was like, "I can't." He asked me, I can't say no, and of course they went everywhere. But what can you do? So, what are you reading tonight? Are you reading something for Old School April?
Yeah. First of all, I've got to show you what my friend my friend Amelia sent. No, not Amelia, Rhiannon in Wales. She has also a tote bag with this on, but she had these made for me. It's Jason
Oh, that is
as a bubble
awesome. Is
gum.
he? Oh,
Michael,
that's very
can you see
cute.
him? I don't know if you can see him really well.
Yeah, yeah, I can.
It
Oh, they're so
this
pretty.
and Ghostface,
Oh, they're amazing. What are
and
they? Are they
basically
actually? Are
they're
they little
bookmarks.
bookmarks? Oh,
And so
lovely.
basically, she also the same print, the same pictures she had made into a tote bag for me, and I've actually cut the straps off and hung it up as a poster because it's so
Oh,
good. But what am I reading? Well, I'm finishing this. This is proper adult horror and it's proper gory and it's just so fun. It reads like a crime noir, kind of. It's called B Movie Bloodbath.
that's a good
So
title.
it's like a VHS tape, and he's set in the. It starts out with this guy. It's 1972, and he's walking home with his girlfriend, in love of his life, and they get attacked. She gets killed, and they're not human. He
Oh,
gets arrested for it, sent to prison for 8 years, brutalized in prison,
okay.
and then he gets souped up with this injection that makes him have superpowers. And then he goes on the hunt for these men who killed his
Oh,
creatures. They killed his girlfriend. He meets all these weird things, like a weird fortune teller and a group of monster hunters who are vampires and werewolves. I mean, it's like a fever dream, but it's just so compelling. I've got to finish that. Then I'm reading another Goosebumps. This is the one I'm reading. The Blob
how
That Ate
cool.
Everyone. Just love the cover. And
Yeah.
then I read my second Christopher Pike, which was The Witch. And I didn't like it. And I've only read two Christopher Pikes, and I didn't like either of them. So everybody I know in the Tellpoint Horror Book Club who love Christopher Pike have said, Sharon, you've read the two worst. I went, well, it's about right. So they've all recommended Monster, which is the one I'm going to read. So this is everybody's favourite. So
So now,
we're going to
if you
give that a
don't
go.
like
So I'm going to
this,
flit.
if you don't like this, I think you can probably draw a line under Christopher Pike, can't you, and just say, not for me. But I haven't read much Pike. One of my best friends
It
in the
just, I
90s
mean, there's so many.
was obsessed. She was obsessed, and I didn't get into it. I didn't really
Yeah.
read many of them.
The thing is that the two I've read Slumber Party with the Point Horror Book Club, and I read Witch, and the story, the actual story, the idea is actually really fun. It's really good, but it's just that I don't like the characters. The characters are awful, and and maybe if I was a teenager, I would love them. I don't know, but a lot of people I love Point Horror, as you know now, and a lot of my Point Horror family, or our Point Horror family, because we're both in it, they all love this one. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it'll be the one.
Yeah, I mean, point horror teenagers aren't always the best, but the stories are so compelling and the scenario is so compelling. I think it
And
usually
it's funny.
the plot often
It's funny.
Yeah, yeah. The plot often outshines that, doesn't it? And it doesn't matter because they're so ridiculous. And I think the sillier the better, like, washing machine deaths and like piranha pool and stuff like that. Like that's why I like point
Yeah.
horrors. Christopher Pike strikes me as a bit more serious. Like I didn't read, is it the Midnight Club, the ones where the teenagers are all terminally ill? I can't go there with terminally ill children.
The
Like
Midnight
that's not for me.
Society. Now,
Yeah.
actually, I have read that. I haven't read the book, but I've seen the series, and I really enjoyed the series. It was a really interesting idea. The idea that people close to death it was just a fascinating idea, and it was a really
Hmm.
touching series, I thought. So I haven't read
It's
the
just the
book
fact
though.
that they're
Didn't realise that was
young.
Christopher Pike in fairness.
Yeah, if they were older, I think I could cope, but they're young. I don't like that. Like I started reading another book recently. There was a really anticipated one, and as soon as there's an ill child in it, I'm like, no, I've lost all interest in this book now. Just
I
can't
think in
do
the
it.
Midnight Society, they're not young teenagers.
Yeah,
They're like mid
yeah,
teenagers.
yeah.
But yeah. It's not the right time for you to read that. You need to give yourself a bit of time till he's a bit older.
This is it. 18 plus. I think I'm just going to binge all the horrible things. Although saying that, I read Last House on Needless Street recently. Have you read that one?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't say
and that's
anything about it.
dark.
Yeah, it would be a spoiler. It was so compelling that I couldn't stop reading it, and without spoiling it,
Yeah.
I think I figured out some stuff that made it not as bad for me, if that makes sense. So I could manage
Yeah.
that one, and I think the way that Catriona Ward did it, I could cope. But yeah, it was dark, and I finished it a few days ago, and I'm still like pondering it. Like, did I like this? Was it a fun
It stays in your
experience?
brain, that story. Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
I don't think it was fun, but it was compelling and really well done and really dark. And I love the idea of a cat
It was
being a
based on
narrator. I
it
thought that
wasn't
was
that
genius.
it was based on a true story, partly on a true story, wasn't it? That book.
Yeah, and she did a lot of research. I listened to the audiobook and then I listened to the like authors afterward, and she said that she met a lot of people and talked to people and did research about the subject matter. Which I think probably is why it feels so authentic. But yeah, I'm not going to say any more
Yeah,
because
yeah.
spoilers. But yeah, very, very
It's
compelling. And
worth
I
a
also
read.
just
It is. Yeah, it's impossible to put
and
down. You can't put it down once you
yeah,
start reading.
it is. And I just read Instance Around the House as well, which also had a child in, being so brave. And again,
Josh
I
Malerman.
didn't
Yeah.
mind. Yeah, I didn't mind the child dynamic of that. I think I kind of forgot they were a child for a lot of the time because it was narrated by them. I think I kind of erased it in my mind and just read it as a narrator. So I was okay. But I thought that was really good. Have you read that one?
Yes.
Again,
You
don't
know
want
what
to
I
spoil
watched?
it. But the ending, I
Yeah,
was a bit disappointed by.
I was
I
I
felt
was a
like it
bit
was
flat
building
at
up.
the ending.
Yeah, I felt it was building up to something, and it ended really suddenly. And I was like, "Oh, that is the end. Okay."
It was like a point horror end, wasn't it? Do you know when suddenly there's loads of action, then everything stops? I thought, has
Yeah.
he been reading point horror? That's what happens in point
Well,
horror, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, I
and I
agree.
think that's
Very abrupt
it's a
ending.
style of
Yeah.
it's a style of horror, isn't it? But I prefer a bit more winding up and resolution in my endings, I think. Usually.
I don't mind either, to be fair, but it's a very good book, and I can understand why it's so fated, because it's a really good story.
Yeah, I thought the
And
book
but
was
I love
great.
creepy kids. I like
Yeah,
creepy kids. I love creepy kids in horror.
maybe creepy kids are better to me than like kids, because although she was in peril, she was more of a creepy kid than a kid in peril, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, she
And I
was.
can probably
Yeah,
cope with that a bit more. Let's go through some comments and then we can do a sprint. So book club is in on hiatus and potentially indefinitely, just because I've currently
mine
got, I
too.
think, five jobs at the moment. So I felt like I wasn't doing it properly and concentrating, and I was getting to the end of the month and having to rush to read the book, and I think I just need to concentrate on my actual incomes at the moment and my family. I'm glad you're enjoying Lucy Undying. I found it really interesting. It's a Dracula retelling focusing on Lucy Westenra for anybody interested.
Hi,
Yes, Sharon's
Larissa.
there. Hello,
Hi,
hello.
Lily.
The Nexus Parish. I feel like, was it you who mentioned this the other day, Lily, or somebody else? I feel like that author has come up before. Not one I'm familiar with, I don't think.
Hi, Ellie.
Hello. I'm glad it's nice weather where you live too, Stephen. I wonder if this is
Yeah,
just everywhere today. Ooh, that's a good title. The
that
Poison
sounds like a
Spell.
great title. Hmm.
That's a good title as well. I need to look up that. Oh, what's that about, Ellie? That sounds interesting.
Yeah, don't forget to feed the cat. They'll start eating you.
Yeah. I mean, yes, dangerous. Oh, I love horror movies, although of a very
Do you know?
specific type. I'm a bit of a
Do you know
scaredy
what's the
cat.
other day? The remake of Children of the Corn.
Oh,
Have
how
you
was
watched this?
it?
The remake. You
I've
know, the
only
I
read it.
actually I love the original.
Yeah, I've only read it. I've not
I
watched
love the
any
original,
incarnation of it.
but the new film is really good. It's incredibly gory and far more ecological. And the main character, the main child protagonist, is a girl in the new one, and she
Okay.
is creepy as. Oh my god, very good.
I don't remember being a child. Is it a couple in the book? I can't remember if they're a family. It's a short story, isn't it? It's a
Yeah,
Stephen King
in
one.
Stephen King.
I can't remember. Is it
Yeah.
in Nightmares and Dreamscapes or something like that? Or can't remember which one. I went through a phase of reading a few Stephen King anthologies, and I don't remember which one that was in. Hey, everybody saying hello. I'm sleepy too. Join the
I have
sleepy
to think.
club.
I have to think.
Oh, phone's just doing that. Phone then
I know, hasn't today gone fast? I agree
news
with you.
jumping. Yeah, nice weather, I think, does that to me.
Ah,
Oh,
Whitby.
it's so lovely. I don't know whether
Mm.
you can see my necklace. Is that? I don't know whether that's what brought this on. I'm wearing my Whitby Abbey necklace today. My castle necklace, as Nathan calls it. Kept saying, "Oh, mummy, there's a bat
Well,
above
you
your
know,
castle." I'm like,
I'm
"That's why I like it."
I'm involved with the indie horror chapter. We're hoping at
Hmm.
some point to do a convention in Whitby.
Oh, I'll definitely come to that. I love Whitby. It's one of my fave
Me
places.
too.
Yeah, weekends are all about. If you've not got a 5-year-old, I'm sure
Yeah.
they're all about resting. Yeah, yeah. I think it rings a bell, definitely. Ooh, good looks. Buckle up
Brilliant.
and
That's a
take a
big
few
chunk.
months if
You
you
could
like
you could
me.
kill somebody with that book. If somebody broke into your house, you could use it as a weapon.
Do you know what? If I ever do get a home invasion, hope I never will, I'll just go to the Stephen King collection and I'll fine. Oh
That's all
my
you need to
goodness.
do.
That sounds really interesting. Not quite the type of hell I was
Oh,
thinking
that
of though.
sounds
I was thinking
fantastic.
it sounds great, but I was thinking about like demons and end of the world stuff. It's about 2 hours for me, I think, Ellie. So it's a fair drive, but it's worth it. I've been to they invited me to the Goth weekend last October, or was it? I don't know. All the Octobers blend together. But yeah, I was there for Goth weekend signing books and shopping, and yeah, it was really, really fun. Um, I can still hear a bit of chaos upstairs, so I think let's go to a sprint. I'm going to go and head and see what's happening in little person's bedroom. So let's do 40 minutes and catch up. And hopefully, I'll be back down to work very soon and see you all on the other side. Hello. Oh, it says your mic's not connected, I think, Sharon. Joys of technology, isn't it? Oh, there we. Oh, on and off. Hang on, you've gone again. I think you might be muted now. Oh, there we go. I can hear you now. Oh no, sorry, you've gone again, Sharon. What's happening? Are you mute? I don't know whether it's muting you or whether it's a microphone issue, but let me just click on mute and see if I can. No, I can't unmute you. It says I can't mute you because you chose to mute yourself. If you click mute, does it unmute you or?
Yay!
Hello? Yeah, sorted. Well
Hello.
done.
It
I
had
caught
just
you
come
at a
out the
lovely moment.
connection.
Oh, okay. I caught you at a lovely moment, Sharon. I happened to look up on my screen and you were chortling away at something. Did something amuse you when you were reading?
This book I'm reading, B Movie Bloodbath, it's like a fever dream, right? And so there's like vampires and werewolves and all these. It's it's kind of like what's that program? You know, the one who's the monster killer. Can't think what it's called. And he kills all these monsters, and some of them are human, but they turn into monsters. Oh, somebody
Oh,
knows what it's called,
somebody
and
in the comments, help us out.
somebody will know what it's called. I can't remember now. It's very, very similar to that. So there's all these different creatures, and they're different kind of monsters, but they look human. And but it got to it got to this part where he went into this bar, and they all turned out to be vampires and various other creatures. And there's this bloke in a corner who's the only other human playing a guitar, and he turns out to be also a monster hunter. And it was just
Oh,
the fight was just hilarious. It was so funny, and they blew the place up, and then they drove off, and all the town turns out to be full of creatures, and they all followed them, and they had this battle on the road. But it was like wacky races. It was brilliant, and it was just it was. I mean, it was gruesome, but it was such dark humor, you know.
I'm quite tempted. Is it too much for me, Sharon? Because I can cope with what's it called? B movie what?
B movie Bloodbath is called. There's two. It's by it's actually kind of loosely based on his life, the writer Isaac
Okay.
Nightingale, and the
Oh
main
gosh, that
character
sounds hot.
is
Right.
called Knight. I don't think he's met supernatural creatures, but you know what I mean. It's kind of
Oh,
loosely
shame.
based on his life. And he's an indie author. He's got another one called Neon Nightmares, and the covers are fantastic because they look like old VHS tapes, and they all set in the 70s and 80s, and but it's just mad. It's complete madness, but it's just such fun. But it's very gruesome. Think kind of what's that I can't think of things tonight. My brain. Quentin Tarantino film with vampires. From Dusk
Oh,
Till
from dusk
Dawn.
till
It's
dawn.
kind
Yeah.
of like that kind of level of violence.
See, I can cope with that because to me that's quite superficial and it doesn't tap in. As soon as you tap into a layer of emotion or grief or and start toying with me, I can't cope with. I think with the real goriness, I kind of put that in a little box that it doesn't affect me, if that makes
It
sense. Like on
starts off
films, I'm saying.
it starts off really awful, where he's walking with the love of his life, and they get jumped by these two men, and you think they're going to assault her, but they turn into creatures and kill her, and he gets done for the murder and sent down. And the time in prison, there's real human monsters there, and that's where he learns to fight. So there's this very human aspect to it. There's kind of, and he's grief stricken. He loved this woman. He absolutely loved her, and he's not old. He's 19, right?
Mm.
But he learns to fight. But now it's just it's just such fun. It's
I
such
think the bit at the
fun.
beginning would be harder for me because as you were
Yeah,
describing that, I was like, "Mm."
I read it and I thought, but even then there's this really dark humor to it. And I thought, oh god, this is different than I expected. I was expecting like B movie Bloodbath to be kind of like a B movie style dark humor. And he started off with something really awful happening to this man, but it's over very quickly, and then it goes into madness, really.
I
But
suppose things like Mad Max and like The Crow, but I know that's 90s. Like
yeah,
they do often start with like a hero's
a
kind of
very
born in blood,
emotional,
aren't they?
yeah. Heroes
So
are born from tragedy. Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
that kind of trope. Something horrific happens to you, that makes you into capable of killing. And but it's I can't even explain it. It's just it's an easy 5-star read for me, and I've got like 10% left. It's just brilliant. I've read it all day on and off in between other stuff, and it's just brilliant. Can't wait
I
to
love
read the
it when
next one.
is it kind of pulling you to it? Like every time you start reading, you're like, oh, I want a bit more and I want a bit more.
And it's on KU. It's on Kindle Unlimited, so it's even better, isn't it? But he's coming to the indie horror chapter at some point, so I'll definitely buy copies of this from him. And but just brilliant, really brilliant, really good. And it's very, very adult horror. It's gruesome. So I need to, emphasize that it is gory.
I've been
But it's
okay
such a good
with
story.
the adult horror like Cotton Candy Massacre and what's the one? Is it Tastes Like Candy? There was another candy one
Tastes like
that was
candy. Yeah.
see stuff like that. I mean, there was a scene where stuff happened to her head and it described it being like popping like a watermelon, I think. And I'm like, I'm okay
Did you
with
read
that.
Tastes Like Candy too? Did you
No,
read the
I've only read
second
the
one?
first.
The
No, just the
second
first.
one's
I'm
even
really bad at
worse.
Is it? I'm really bad at reading sequels, and I don't know. I think it's because there's so many books I want to read. I tend to just flip to the first book of everything and not get time to read the sequels.
But there's another one as well called Something Mole. It's the third one she wrote, Ivy
Oh,
Tholen.
yeah,
And it,
I can
and
picture it.
and I think that you probably shouldn't read that one.
Okay, is that
Because
one just?
I mean, it's great. It's a great story. It's a fantastic story, but it is about ultimately a child death, and so you probably shouldn't
Mm,
read. I think
no.
just at the moment you shouldn't, because the children, they're about the same age as Nathan. So it's like,
Yeah,
but it's a great story and a brilliant twist, and
it's a tricky
very
one.
nostalgic.
I started reading Nosferatu by Joe Hill, like wondering, can I cope with evil children? And then I got really sad
Mm.
because I was thinking about like the families of these children, that because I think from the first chapter it's very evident what's happened to these children. I think anybody who reads it'll know. And I was like, oh, now I'm thinking about the mums and dads who've like lost these children. I couldn't even go there. I was like, oh, I thought this could be really fun. It's essentially vampires and cults kind of rolled into one, and I still couldn't get behind that. So yeah, it's going to take a lot, I think, to push me through. And yeah, Catriona Ward can do it. She sucked me in, even though it wasn't a subject I necessarily wanted to read. She's clever, that Catriona Ward. I met her in real life at MCM a couple of years ago, and I'd just finished what's it called? Looking Glass Sound, I think. And I absolutely loved it and thought it's not my usual type of book, but it's so clever. And I just walked up to her like totally fangirling because I thought it was brilliant. And she was just so nice and down to earth and normal, despite the twisted things she writes about.
My favourite one by her is Little Eve, I think,
I
which is
don't
a
think I've
cult one. I
got,
love that. Yeah.
yeah, I haven't got or read. I have to read the back of hers really carefully because I nearly bought one. In fact, no, I did. I bought Sundial and then I read the back and was like, oh man, no, I'm not going to read this. It's about a
I
woman
mean,
who thinks something is wrong with a child, I think. And I was
yes,
like,
yeah. It's
oh,
just not. Actually, I think that's the weakest one she's ever written.
yeah,
It was one I didn't like, but it's like, yeah. There's a time in it. These things you can read when he's older, right? Because there's a fantastic indie book called The Dead Children's Playground, which is one of the best horrors I read last year. It's in my top 10, easy. Fantastic story based around a real life dead children's graveyard that exists in America, with all these kids who died during the flu pandemic.
yeah.
And just such a brilliant horror story. But
See, stuff
it
like
would
that,
be,
I'm a bit more removed from because it's like a historical pandemic. But then I suppose we've had our own
but no,
pandemic that was.
it's set in modern times. So these
Oh, okay.
the children's spirits are trapped by something
Yeah.
evil. And one of the main characters is a young girl who's dying of cancer. So it's not
Oh,
something that I would ever recommend a parent read, because it's
no.
heartbreaking, because the parents in it are completely bereft. And so it's not something I would ever recommend a parent read until their kids were older. But it's such a clever, enthralling story. I mean, really incredible.
It's just It's the thing, isn't
But
it, that horror
yeah,
authors, it's a way to tap into really deep, dark emotions, isn't it? As soon as you bring children into the picture. So
yeah,
I know why horror authors do it, because if you ask me, okay, you've got to write a horror book, so think of your worst fears, that's what they would be about. So I get why they do
yeah.
it, but I just have no interest in reading it right now.
And
But
that's
I
what
just
horror
sat
is,
and
people always say to me, "Why do you love horror?" Because they meet me and I'm quite bubbly, aren't I? And they always think, "Well, why do you read horror?" And I'm like, because it allows you to explore things that you're afraid of
yeah, and
safely,
I think
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And some things are too, for me personally, some things are too raw. But I know some people,
yeah,
like I know Kasha likes to explore dark subjects through horror. And
yeah.
and I think you and Kasha both
Me too.
similarly seek out the darker the better to kind of push that boundary. And I think I know I've got a definite boundary, and some people's, mine's back here and yours is probably somewhere over there.
But there's some
And
things I don't
my mum's
like.
is probably miles down the road in that direction, you know?
I mean, a lot of the people in the indie horror scene are very into splatterpunk, and very
Yeah.
extreme splatterpunk, and I don't like that. It's not that I find it frightening; I just don't want to be disgusted when I read.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I want something that makes me feel unsettled. I don't want to read something that's make me go, "Ugh, ugh." I just don't want
Yeah.
that.
I quite
So,
like a fleeting, do you know what? I did read a sequel. What was the Christmassy one? Not Sleigh Bells. What was it called? Oh, come
oh,
on,
the
Brian.
elf one. Was
No,
it the elf
Brian.
one?
Is it? Yeah, I read that
Oh,
one, the Elf on Shelf one.
Candy Cane.
Oh, are you saying it?
Candy Cane kills
Oh,
again.
sorry, Kev was just smiling because Spider-Man was still on the telly. I've not been watching it. It's just been paused, I think, since Nathan went to bed.
Was it
But
Candy
yeah,
Cane,
so
Brian
those.
McCauley?
Yeah, I did read a sequel. I bought it straight after because I enjoyed the first one so
Me too.
much. And there was some scenes in that were so gruesome. There was one to do with stew. Can't really describe it
Yeah.
without saying stew. Um, and I had to read it to Kev, and I normally don't do that, like stop and read it. I was like, this is disgusting. You need to hear it as well. Like your brain needs to be corrupted by this filth like me. But I loved it, and it was just the right amount of
Well, just the
disgusting.
right.
Like because it kind of made me laugh because I thought the scene. I love it when something's going. You think it's going in a direction, and then it just flipped it
And
on
it
me, and I was like, that's
swerves.
really fun. Yeah, and I can go with that. But yeah, I think gratuitous splatterpunk where it's just a constant blood and guts fest. I think you end up
It's
becoming
not
really
even
numb
that.
to it.
It's kind of the bodily fluids and the kind of,
Yeah,
I just find it icky. I don't want to read that. And what I loved about Candy, I love those two books, Candy Cane Kills, because the ending was so completely what I not expected. I
yeah.
didn't
Oh, they
expect the
totally got
ending.
me. Yeah, the first one
Me too. And I
particularly,
was just like, oh
I had
my
to go,
God.
yeah,
I
and
know.
it's
It
so
was just one of
short,
those,
isn't it?
oh my God. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
such a brilliant ending. And I didn't see it coming, and just love those two books. I think those will be a regular kind of reread for me every other Christmas or something like that. Such good
I've been
Christmas
thinking of,
books.
they're part of a series, aren't they? That isn't connected. I
Yeah.
can't remember what they're called, but it's
The
like horror movie
the
style
VHS
books.
the VHS series.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've read
I was thinking
Melonhead
of getting.
Mayhem.
Was that any good? Did you like that one?
It was great fun. It's basically about this lad who his auntie dies, or his mother. Anyway, and he gets to go back to the house, and he finds this video of a film he's never seen. He loved horror, him and his friends, right? They meet up, and they put this video on about this melon heads that were kind of myths from the area. Anyway, it turns out they're real, and it's proper kind of Mars Attacks kind of B
Mm.
movie kind of. It's such fun. Yeah, really good.
I thought
Really
it
enjoyed
sounded
that.
good. I need to order a few, but because they're so short and they're quite expensive. Indie
They are
publish
expensive.
can skew the expensive side. So I was like, I need to save up and do a little binge. And I thought I might buy all of them in one go, but I'm trying
Some
not
of
to
them you
spend money
can't
on books.
get. I
Yeah,
think
all right.
there's about six of them, 6 or 7 out now, and there's two of them that were only ever released in physical form in the US.
Ah, okay.
But you can get them on Kindle, and I think one of them's on Kindle Unlimited. But yeah, they're really good. They're really good fun.
That
Yeah.
might be the way to read them, then get them on Kindle.
Yeah.
Let's see how the people in the comments are doing and then get to another sprint.
Oh,
Hello, good luck, Paul.
hello, darling.
I hope as I'm reading this, you've nearly finished the book and all is fine and not all stressful.
I popped onto your sprint last night, Paula. I did like it, but you were in the middle of a sprint when I turned on.
Always happens to me when I have to click on friends prints. Nice. That's very
I've got
productive,
I've got to
Ellie.
feed my cats in a minute as well. I agree.
We have a fish tank. That's the only concession to pets we have, and we've got baby shrimp now. One of our shrimps had
Oh,
babies, so
oh my!
it's very exciting that they're this bit, they're like millimeters long,
Tiny.
and so the most
Yeah.
exciting thing in our house at the minute is somebody will go, oh, we can see a shrimp baby, so we're just racing to the fish tank all the time and pressing our faces to it like, can we see the babies, is anything going to eat them before they get to full size? The
I've had
stress.
to speak to my my friend today because she's coming. They live in Middlesbrough and they're coming down. Every time they come to Devon, we always used to meet up with them. Me and Carl would go meet them and we'd take them out for dinner. And they've got two boys. I think our youngest one's called Nathan, well, Nathaniel,
Oh,
she calls him. He's 3. The other one's
oh,
7. And but they're coming to me obviously because I can't get. Obviously, I don't have Carl to drive me now, so they're coming to me. And I said, so I'm talking to today, giving my address, and I said, and are you boys okay with cats? Nah, you know what I mean? Because my cats are quite old and crotchety, and they're not going to not be happy about young boys. So I said the 2 of them will run away because they'll just get out of their way. But Merlin is very loving. He wants to be loved all the time, but he doesn't realise sometimes that they are little people. So I might have to lock him upstairs, I think.
it depends on the little person, because mine, I've taken him to the farm since he could toddle, so he's really
Yeah,
good with animals. And like the other day, we found a cat like just laying on the pavement for a stroke, and it went for
yeah,
me, and both of us like knew straight away, like we were ready, and he did the same as me, like step back, hands and feet away from it.
yeah.
So I think it depends on if they've got experience of around
They've got no
animals,
they've
isn't it?
got no animals. They've got no animals in their
Yeah.
house, no animals in their family.
Okay.
They've never been around animals. So and my animals are quite old, they're 15, 16 and 11.
Yeah.
The 2 old boys especially. Do you know what I mean? If they annoy them, they'll be you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. It might
So
be easier for them to be away, possibly.
yeah, I mean they'll only be here about an hour. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah, they'll cope then.
but they'll cope. They'll sleep. But I just don't want to. I don't want the boys getting hurt. But I also don't want my cats getting hurt
Well,
because
yeah, and
if they've never been around them, they don't really understand how
well, it's
to
things like
handle them.
downward stroking. A lot of kids don't know that you follow the grain of a cat's
Yeah,
fur and they try
not
and stroke
upwards,
them. Yeah,
not
or
against
pull
the
their tails.
grain. So I
Yeah.
used to say to my stepsons when little, you don't go against the grain, love. No,
Yeah, no,
that
and
just
it doesn't.
annoys them.
You learn quickly if you stroke a cat. It feels nicer when you stroke them that way, anyway.
Yeah,
So yeah, that I think yeah. If it's just an hour, if they're staying for a visit, they might have to get accustomed to each other. But if
yeah.
it's just a short visit, separation's probably
I
best,
just
isn't it?
don't want the cats getting stressed, and I don't want
No.
and I don't want anything. I don't want the boys to get scratched, and that be their first example of being around an
Yeah.
animal.
Yeah.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So it's like
Yeah.
because they're just a bit old and crotchety. It's not their fault. And I said to Nat, please explain to them. It's not their fault. It's just they in animal terms, they're like 70, 80 years old. They're very
Oh
crotchety
yeah.
old men.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
but I'm
bless
looking
them.
forward to seeing them. My sister's down on Saturday, next Saturday, and she'll be
Ah,
here
lovely.
anyway. So she's down for a week. So I'm looking forward to that. And then my
Oh, that'd be fun.
stepson and his girlfriend with the baby and the belly, because I'm going to be a
Oh,
granny. And my other stepson who's back from the Falklands, they're all coming over as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. See
oh,
everybody.
fabulous family time. Sounds like
Yes. Don't
exactly
see
what you
anybody for
need.
months. Don't see anybody for months, and they all turn up in the same
Until
week.
brilliant, that's life, isn't it?
It's about right,
I,
isn't
th-
it?
I think we should do another sprint. I'm going to show Kev my new colouring pens, so I'm going to go over there for a minute because I'm sure he'll be super excited about them, but hopefully it'll feign some excitement for me.
You've got to
And
share it.
yeah, well, I'm hiding them. I've learned from the Posca pens. I'm going to hide them. I'm afraid these ones are going to go in
Well,
my office locked away.
if I
But
know
yes,
anything about little children, is that unless you hide them high, he's going to find them.
well, yeah. Oh, and he loves my office because there's so much weird stuff in there. Like he'll come in, and the next thing I know, he's like, "Oh, mummy, can you get that down?" And it'll be some skull with glowing eyes or something, and he thinks it's
Oh,
all brilliant.
I've got to show you this, by the way. My friend bought it. She turned up about a month ago with this.
Of course you did. That's amazing. Always lovely.
He's like automatic. You can take his legs down and up.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Look at him. They do a Sally as well, but
Oh,
She
that's
said, I just saw
lovely.
him and I thought of you. And I went, well, yeah, you would, wouldn't you? But
Yeah, Nathan
isn't he
discovered
fabulous?
it.
He's like
He's
3.5
gorgeous.
foot. He's like 4 foot high.
Probably as tall as Nathan. He discovered my vampire teddy the other day. I've got a cuddly vampire teddy who's about this big, and Nathan was walking around with it under his arm. And it's like normally for display, and he's there just cuddling it like he doesn't care.
Yes, why not? Why not? It'll be
No,
nearly time for him to read Goosebumps soon, won't it?
do you know
He's
what? We're
well, he's
reading
getting to
it.
the
We're
age, isn't he?
reading Isadora Moon. We're on Isadora, so we're working our way through the spooky books. And my friend's written a book called Pia's Pet Club that's coming out soon. So yeah, we're starting chapter books, right? So yeah, Goosebumps, I reckon, give us a couple of years and we'll be on them probably.
Oh, it's such fun. And it's such great middle grade. Do you know, you got
Yeah.
Alex's stuff and Catherine Foxfield's written the middle grade. Hers was really good. I really enjoyed both of hers. They were such fun.
Yeah, and Gabriel
Proper fun.
Dillon's are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gabriel Dillon Shiver Points are good. And Jennifer Killick's got a
Yes.
new killer, what's it called? Serial Chillers, I think her new ones are called. That was
Tell you
really
what,
good.
I liked as well. I bought Laurie and Lawrence.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And
Her
Lorraine
books
is
are
so
really
lovely.
good.
Yeah,
She,
she's a lovely
I
person as
never
well.
heard of her. She did a book club with Shelley, I think. That's where I
Yeah.
heard from her. She did one of the book clubs. And I
I
bought her
I
3
think
books.
I've interviewed Lorraine, haven't I, Kev? I think. Did I interview her? Or have I just Yeah, I thought I had. Yeah, I interviewed her years ago now, probably.
But her
Yeah,
books are
because
really good. They're really
yeah.
creepy and proper fun. Yeah.
I think I found her because Library Macabre, Cameron was reading them or read the first one, and I
Yeah.
looked it up, and I think they're predominantly in the US, her books, but you can get them here.
Yeah, they're creepy. The Stitch I got the first 3, I think. And it was really the oldies and the Stitchers, and
Yeah,
it was really good
yeah.
fun.
I've
Yeah.
only read the first one so far, but yeah, I really liked it. It was very, very kind of Goosebumps point horror in tone, somewhere between the two, I think.
And then Shiver Point, yeah, I love those. I've bought
Yeah,
them as they've come out, but my nephew ends up with them. My
yeah.
nephew ends up with all of my YA and ends up with all of them eventually. He's like, "Can I have it?" I'm like, "Yeah, right then."
You need a Sharon in your life to pass on books.
I think to myself,
somebody to give
once
me adult horror.
once I've read them, I'm probably not going to read them again. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, why not pass them on?
Well, I'm
So
keeping my middle grades now. I did used to do that with middle grade get rid, but I'm now keeping because I'm thinking in a few years' time they're going to be needed, aren't they? So I've got a couple of shells now ready.
I
And
bought
I've
him
said to him,
Mina. I bought the Mina trilogy for him.
"Oh,
So
thank you."
he's gonna have to read that at some point. I mean, he's 14, so you know he's old enough. And I'm like, you got to read this because he loves
He's nearly
vampires. He loves supernatural stuff.
he's nearly getting to Stephen King age, or depending on the kid, he might be already reading it. I was reading Stephen King by then, and I turned
Oh,
out
I
all
was
right.
reading Stephen King when I was 8, but you know, in the 70s, we didn't have the kind of boundaries you have now.
I was in year 7, so I was 11, rising to 12. And I read it that was my first Stephen King book. You know, this thick and
Yeah,
absolutely devastating. But yeah, I loved it.
I read Carrie when it came out in England in 1977, and I read it when it came out. I was 8,
Oh,
and
amazing.
so yes, and I loved it. I mean, I'll reread it every year. Do you know? So it's you know, it's one of those things I read through the summer that I kind of have it on the side, and I'll pick it up and read it. Do you know what I
No, it
mean?
didn't get
So
published. His wife found it in the bin, didn't she? He wrote it and thought it was rubbish, so he binned it. And his wife was like, "No, this is really
I don't
good.
think
Can you
so.
imagine?"
Tabitha, bless Tabitha. Oh, I don't think so, Stephen. What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah. No, we've got a lot to thank Tabitha for, haven't we?
But 11/22/63 still my favourite Stephen King book.
And I've still not read it. I've watched it. I've not read it. It's on my list, but
Hands down my favourite book. Just because it has that it's just such a clever idea. Do you know what I
I
mean?
mean, that's the thing. I kind of want to forget the TV series, I think, before I watched it. I remember a little bit about the series now, but it's probably nearly time. I've nearly forgotten the twists and turns of it, I think.
But I love his old stuff, you know, when he was drugged up. I love that stuff. I love
And
Carrie
yeah,
and Pet Cemetery and Salem's Lot. And, you know, I love all of that, really, the really kind of horror, the real horror he used to
have
write.
you read If It Bleeds, the newer novella one that only came out last couple of years, I think?
Um,
It's got a Holly Gibney one in it called If It Bleeds,
I
and it's
don't
got
like Holly Gibney character, so
I'd
I've only ever read the first book of that. and I've DNF'd everyone since.
Oh, that's
I
a
don't
shame.
like her. So as a
Yeah,
character, yeah.
I
So
enjoyed it, and it's got one called Mr. Hannigan's Phone in it that's really good, and one called Rats that's good about somebody. Right, I always like books about authors, and it's
I
an
think
author.
I've got it, but I don't think I've read it. The last one I read was the big short story. It's something darker. That was the
Oh,
last one I
and
read.
is it
Something,
Andy
and it gets
Dark?
darker or something. I can't remember what
Yeah,
it was called.
something. Yeah,
And
I don't
I
know. I've
enjoyed
got one actually.
that. I love his short story collections. Are some of my favourite books.
Mm,
Night Shift is still one of my favourite anthologies, collections of short stories I've ever read. And it's because every story is good, you know.
yeah, Different Seasons is one of mine. I
Oh, such
adore
a good book. Yeah,
Apt
such good.
Pupil and The Body, and is Shawshank in there as well? I
Yeah,
think
I
it
think
is,
so.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're
Night
brilliant,
Shift
all of
and
them.
Nightmares and Dreamscapes. I mean, he's just so good at he's just good, isn't he? I mean, he's a I was talking to one of my indie authors who was saying, "Oh, I'd love to have the proficiency, the amount of books that Stephen." I'm not. You can understand Stephen King is a freak. As an
He
author, he's a freak. The amount that he churns out that's actually good is abnormal, isn't it?
Adrian Tchaikovsky's like that as well. I did an
Yeah,
event with him, and he was talking about how many books he writes a year.
yeah,
And he said he's just got a constant supply of ideas. And I was trying to explain to him that I have to nurture idea and craft it
yeah.
and let it grow and steep in my head for years,
Before you
and then
write
I can
it.
write the book about it. And if I ever don't do that, I do run into problems. And a couple of things I'm working on now are recent ideas, and it is much harder. Whereas he writes several a year. And he said it's just the way, and I don't know whether he's got children or not. Maybe that's the key. Um,
Maybe.
but he can write. He thinks of good ideas, and they're ideas that he likes and he's excited by, and he can write them really fast. And I was like, well, I can't do any of those things, so good on you.
Like Terry Pratchett, Terry Pratchett is one of my favourite authors, and he wrote 3 a year, all through his
Yeah, I
life.
mean, do you know what? I think I could write 3 books a year if I did nothing else, because I've kind of timed out how long it takes me. I
Yeah.
wrote the second Mina book in just over 3 months. And it was hard. I was writing like at this point I was getting 2 hour naps out of a 2-year-old. So it was a 2 hour nap and then writing 2 hours an evening. So like 4 hours solid writing a day. And it's possible I can do it, but there's too many other competitors for my time at the minute.
I think they treat it like it's a job, so
Yeah,
it's they actually, so Terry Pratchett had a separate area, a separate building on his land, which was his writing area, and he treated it like a 9 to 5 job. He
yeah,
went in, he wrote for 8 hours, and then he went into his life. And
yeah,
I think probably Stephen King does the same. He sits
yeah.
down and he writes 2,000 words, and then he'll have a break, and then 2,000 words. And it's that, but so you've got to have that kind of mentality, that kind of conditioning to do that, I think. And most authors I know certainly don't write like that,
Yeah,
because
I can do
creative
it.
people don't tend to work
Yeah.
like that. Really.
I can do it, but it's not sustainable for me. I can comfortably write 2 to 3,000 words a day if I've got lots of time blocked out.
Yeah.
But I'm happier if I'm writing 1,000 words a day, because that means I can write 300,000 words a year still,
Yeah.
but do all the other things that I need to do as well,
It soon builds
basically.
up, doesn't it? 1,000 words a day, it soon builds up. That does.
I always say that to
That's a lot of
people:
words.
write 100 words a day if you want. In a year, you've still written a book, basically a short book, but
Exactly.
still you've written a book.
Exactly. And it's just, not everybody's like that. And so all these people who are, prolific like that, they're all men. You know what I mean?
Mostly,
They're
yeah.
mainly men, and they don't have the same nothing against men generally, but they don't have the same responsibilities as women, especially if you've got a family.
It's the
And
choice, isn't it?
yeah,
It's some people put their kids into childcare, and I know I've got other friends who do this, and they do like,
yeah,
a 10-hour stint in nursery or whatever. And that's their choice. And my choice has been to just be there at every minute of the day that I can. So as a
yeah.
consequence, I write less. And it's different for everybody, isn't it? Everybody makes
Different
their own
strokes for
choices.
different folks, innit? Do you know what I
Exactly.
mean? But yeah, yes, I get it. People have to do what they have to do, don't they?
Yeah, I agree, Ellie. I think I try and do that as much as I can and
Me
not just
too.
hoard them like a little book demon. Um,
I've
right, I
sent
think I'm
loads
gonna go.
away. I gave them to, okay, there's this thing called We Buy Books, but
Oh,
but which is great. They've collected 2 parcels today. But you can donate the money to charity, which is what I've done.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And I've got 2 bags behind here that are for my niece, with about 50 books in.
Oh, amazing.
But yeah, you've got to. If I look at them, I pick them up. I think, am I ever going to read this again? No. Do I want to keep it? I have to think. Yeah.
We're doing that
Mummy,
with DVDs at the minute, and it's like, am I actually ever going to watch this DVD? And
we've got
some,
thousands of DVDs,
yeah,
thousands of them. Same with
yeah,
CDs, music. I mean, it's just ridiculous the amount of stuff, really.
yeah, yeah. So that's our current struggle: get rid of the DVDs. But right, I think we should do a sprint, and then
Yeah, I'm
after
going to
we'll
feed the
see how
cats and make a cup of tea. That's what I'm going to do.
lovely. I'm gonna play with my new pens, I think, because I've done enough work for tonight.
Ooh, colouring.
Yep, colouring. So I'll come back and colour in a little bit. I'm gonna go and see Kev. So I will see you shortly. Bye, everyone.
Be reading, peeps.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How did you get on?
I finished that one and I've started the other one, the sequel.
Oh, was it that good?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm about 15% into the sequel now. Yeah, it's very good. Very funny.
Amazing. I'm sort of tempted, but I think it's the beginning bit that's still putting me off a little bit. How long does
Yeah.
that go on for?
A couple of chapters. It's about
Yeah.
10% of the book. Yeah. So it's yeah. It's just such fun. It's just such fun. It reminds me in a way of like a horror version of American Gods.
Oh, okay.
Do you know
Interesting.
American Gods by
Yeah.
Neil Gaiman?
Yeah.
And it reminds me of like a horror version of that. Do you know what I mean? Where it's just
Yeah, I haven't read it, but I've watched it.
just
Not all
really
of it,
kind
but
of
yeah.
weird things just happen, and it's really good fun. It's unlike anything I've ever read before, really. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
I like
So,
weird more and more because I think that you so often get like run of the mill and kind of, like thrillers. There's some comfort in reading a thriller that follows a pattern,
yeah,
isn't there? So you
yeah.
kind of, if you're seeking those out, but I'm more seeking out books that say that they're just wild and off the wall and silly. Like that's what I seem to like at the moment, or
That's
just
what
different.
that's what kind of led me to indie horror. Really, was because a lot of traditional horror was so kind of formulaic. And there's only like a few authors really in traditional horror who surprise me. It's always kind of very, very obvious tropes, and whereas indie, because they haven't got the restrictions of trad publishing, they can just go off, on it like this. I mean, this would never be traditionally published, this book, because it's just too way out there. And but it just makes it more interesting. It gives them a wider field to play with, and so yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun. But I'll
Yeah,
probably
I
have a
need to.
break in it and read a Goosebumps just to cleanse my
Nice.
brain with a bit of comfort horror.
Well, I think I'm going to finish it there just because I'm really tired. I did color swatches for my
Oh,
pens
oh, you got
in
some
that.
lovely colours.
Yeah, they're very, it's
Yeah,
interesting. They're very, very vibrant. I love how they color. I would say, based on the videos I've seen, they're nearly as good as the alcohol ones. There's not a lot of streaking or, like when you color over with a normal pen and it
yeah.
sort of gives you that doubled over layer. They color very smoothly and very nicely. So,
You find things
um,
that are water based. If it's a water based pen, it won't have that, harsh line you can get in alcohol pens. Which brand did you get in the end?
I don't know how to say it. A hoo hoo, I think.
A
O
hoo hoo,
H
a hoo
a
hoo.
hoo hoo.
I love that. That's brilliant.
OHUHU, just because I
A hoo
googled
hoo.
pens that aren't smelly, that color smoothly, and are not ridiculously expensive. Because I think the very best ones you'd pay hundreds for this size
Oh,
of box,
hundreds of
and
pounds.
this was 30 quid, which I thought was okay for good quality, 120 good quality pens
Oh, you
that I
don't
will
really you
use.
don't really need those hundreds of pounds ones unless you're doing it professionally. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? There's no
exactly.
need. Come on up
And I'm
here then,
trying
Bab.
to.
Come and say hello to Auntie Amy. Come on. Look, is it?
Oh look,
Oh,
which
see,
kitty's this?
this is Merlin. This is my
Oh, he's the cuddly one.
he's my boy.
You're
Yeah.
the affectionate one who doesn't hiss and snarl and.
I've got to be careful because he might disconnect my computer. Merlin, that's enough of that, isn't it? Hey? Yes, isn't it?
But wires, cables, plugs, they're all exciting things to small children and small animals.
It's because I think they finally realised she was the same, the little one. Is if I'm reading, I've got my Kindle or my phone, they just knock it off me because they know it's distracting me from loving them. So it's like they're like kids in that respect. They kind of actually something's taking you away from me, so I'm just going to get rid of it. I mean, they've knocked my phone out of my hands so many times, you've no idea. Just because, like, love me, love me.
Mm.
Mwah.
Also, like a child, usually children are running at 100 miles an hour as well. So, isn't it they're trying to get the phone out of your hands? Your hand and the phone are just in the way of the thing across the room that they actually want. So, zoom, and everything falls out of your hands. Like, oh,
He's just the most loving little boy. He
yeah,
just
he
wants to be
looks
hugged
very.
all the time. He likes
How
to be
old is
held
he?
he's 15 this year.
Ah,
15 in June, aren't you? He likes to be tipped over and held like a baby. He was Carl's cat.
oh,
He
my cat
absolutely
used to
adored
do
Carl.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a Persian cat growing up called Jasmine, who she would just you would lay her upside down
Yeah.
like a baby, or she put her paws on your shoulder and just nuzzle into you like
He
Some
does
cats are
that.
so affectionate.
He's too heavy for me to do that. I used to do it to him all the time, tip him over. But he's the biggest cat. He's a proper tomcat. He's a proper little
Oh,
chunky boy, aren't you? Whereas the other two are quite little. So, but it's just a fuss pot. It's just a complete. He'll be there all night. If I don't move now, he'll stay there until I go to bed.
that's the best kind of cat, I think. Like, I know, some cats are sort of haughty and standoffish, aren't they? I like the cuddly, affectionate ones. Cats who let you kiss them without running off. Look at him.
He's gorgeous, isn't he?
He
Merlin
is.
Pendragon. He's called Merlin Pendragon.
Of course he is. Needs a full title. Cat like
You've got to
that.
give a cat a name that they can live with. Although I'll call him Merly Moo. Merly Moo. Yeah.
Oh, again, like children, the amount of stupid stuff that I call Nathan, like they're not even words; they're just sounds.
I know.
Like,
He's
at
like
some
my
point,
stepson's. My stepson's called Owen. I only ever call him Owen. If I call him Owen, he says to me, "You're mad at me."
yeah.
I call him O.
Like, I was calling Nathan Saucy the other day, and I was like, "Where does Saucy even come from?" I think it was like sausage. I was like, "Come here, little sausage," and I said Saucy instead. I was like, "Fine."
Yeah, that's all
Saucy
fun,
is.
isn't it? In terms of
Yeah.
endearment. I call my
Yeah.
stepson O. It's just O. O.
Oh, come here, oh. I don't know why Stephen agrees with me. Sorry, Stephen, I've lost the plot, but I'm glad you agree with me. Oh, ghost stories,
I'll
yeah.
read it. They don't. I mean, I'll read horrific horror while I'm in bed before I go to sleep. So it
Yeah,
doesn't bother me.
Depends on the book and what. Yeah, I'm probably with you, Stephen. I like to have something to wind down to. Hello, Paula. Did you manage to get the book finished? Speed reader, yes. Sharon definitely is fast.
Yeah.
Hi,
Especially if
Mel.
he's gorgeous, isn't he? Look at his little he's so good.
Oh, well done, Ellie. Right.
42 pages, well done.
Yes, I think I'm gonna colour my last 20 or so pens and then go to bed.
Okay,
Maybe
darling.
watch a tiny bit of telly, and then go to bed. I'm trying to have earlier nights. I don't know about you, but I tend to just I think I'll go to bed at 10 o'clock. That's a sensible time to go to bed. Before I
Yeah.
know it, it's 11, and I'm like, what am I doing? I've just spent an hour procrastinating going to bed when I actually want to go to bed.
I normally go to bed between 10 and half 10, but then I'll read for an hour.
Yeah.
And then so I usually go to sleep about half 11. And because I don't sleep very well, as you know.
Yeah.
So I'll be up at 6 at the latest, really. And but yeah, I like to lie in bed and read. I've got my bed Kindle. I've got a Kindle in every room.
That's the best way to be. Did they all link up to each other?
Oh yeah, they've all got everything. Yeah, so it's just perfect, isn't it? I just open it and it flicks to the page I was on down here.
Oh, that's amazing. Well done, Paula. Yes, I do. I love some horror. I just have to be selective about what I read before bed. Good night. I will be back. I don't know what
Night,
day I'm doing.
everyone.
I messaged Sharon about 2 hours, well, an hour or two before the sprints. Like, Sharon, I forgot I was doing sprints. Do you want to come on? I don't know what I'm doing at the minute. I'm too busy. There's too much going on. So
It's the
have to
charm
fit in
chat
sprints.
tomorrow. Charm chat on Tales Point
Ooh.
Horror tomorrow.
I haven't watched it, so I probably need to not watch the charm chat. I was planning to.
I'm going to watch it tomorrow. I'll watch it I tend to watch it the day of, otherwise I'll forget them. Yeah, 7 and 8. So I'll probably watch them in the morning while I'm pootling. We'll have it on the background while I'm pootling about.
I might have to catch up with you and watch up to where you are and then watch the next ones. Because when Nathan's at school and Kev's at work, that's when I watch my series. Because some of the work I do, I can work when I've got the TV on. So
what's lovely
that's when I
about the
watch stuff
chats, I
like
have to
that.
say, it's not even talking about the episodes. It's that they just go off at the both of them as bad as each other. They go off at a tangent, and then we end up talking about all this stuff from the 90s, and we end up talking about completely random stuff. It's just a really lovely kind of friendly chat for a couple of hours on a Sunday night. You know what I mean?
They're just lovely people, aren't they?
Yeah,
Both
they
of them, Josh
are.
and
I know.
Shelley.
I'm on live with Shelley this month, because I'm doing the bonus book, the first Point Crime, Bar Dead Sheep. So
I did have that back in the day. I don't know whether I've still got it. I need to look. I've got 1 or 2
yeah,
Point Crimes.
I didn't even know. So we're doing that one in April the 20th, I think. I'm on live with her and Emma and Melina. So that'll be fun.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Ellie. Yeah, it'll be
Yes, lovely,
sometime
bye.
next week. Keep an eye out. Yeah, I'm going to sign off for now, everybody. So I will see you soon on socials, and I'll be
Have a
doing
nice
this.
day tomorrow in the sunshine. It's going to be a lovely
Yeah.
day again
Oh, is
tomorrow.
it? Good. Fingers crossed for that. So hopefully see you all soon. Bye.
Bye, lovelies. Bye.